everyone! We're doing a video a little bit different than we usually do. No traveling or any kind of adventure video vlog. So just last week was our 1 year anniversary. First I want to say that it went by a lot quicker than I thought. I'm sure if any of you are watching who've been married for many years can probably say that time flies too. The more years that you're married to the love of your life. So we wanted to make a video to kind of talk about how our wedding went a year ago and how we kind of tackled the project of getting married in the first place and things that we, I guess, did good at, things that we could do better at, and just like what our opinions and our thoughts were on the wedding itself.
So we compiled a list of our top 10 tips for when you're planning a wedding. So if you're planning a wedding in 2021, this is just based on our experience. These are our top 10 recommendations based on how our wedding went. Tip number 1 is my favorite thing in the world, which is organize. And we actually got the idea to have a binder. I love our binder. I kept our binder because it makes me really happy and I really enjoy it.
She spent like a week working on it.
This was my baby. The reason I wanted a binder is because this is something that was super easy to hand off to people who were helping with our wedding. For example, if my mom needed information on, the venue, I could just hand her the binder and she could look through the menu tab. So just to give you guys an example of what our binder ended up looking like, we had different tabs for different sections of our wedding. For example, we have this cute checklist that we found online to help us keep a timeline with all the tasks that we needed to get done. So this is everything we had to finish about 6 to 3 months ahead of time, like 2 months ahead, 1 month ahead, etc., etc. We have this section here for our calendar so we could keep our dates straight and everything leading up to the wedding, how everything was going to play out for the week ahead. We have our venue. This is like a rough sketch of what the venue was going to look like. Our contract. In our section we had the wedding party. This is where I kept like all my bridesmaids dress information. Our ceremony, just like the notes of how we wanted the day to go. Decorations, just some random things and notes that we had for that. Food, just keeping track of all the ideas. This is where we kept track of everything for our registry and gifts. So you can make it as customizable as you want. This is just an example of what we did, and it really helped us keep organized for the day of our wedding. And also, it's a nice little souvenir to have later on. I've enjoyed looking back on it even after the wedding's done.
Number 2 of what we did for our wedding is to make sure we like maintain and stick to the budget we had. Thankfully, from her parents, they offered to give us a $5,000 budget, which might seem a lot or not a lot to some of you. Shot weddings for a living, so they get really expensive, like up to the 10,000s to 20,000s or whatever. So we had a really tight budget. We made a list of things we needed to get, going off of her checklist of things that we needed to buy. One of the biggest expenses started with the venue, which is around $3,000, and then we went to her dress.
It was about $550 after alterations. I went to David's Bridal, and I was able to get a dress on sale.
Yeah. And then we did, our photographer was about $900. And make sure you know, like if you want a videographer and a photographer, like really compare and see which one you want to really invest your money into. Because we viewed pictures more important than video. So our food was about like $350, decorations were about $100, and then the invites were about $50. That's what fit inside of the budget we got from her parents, and then everything else that came outside of that for like MySue and little knickknacks we need to get on the side came from out of our pockets.
We stayed within budget.
Yeah, make sure you just stay within the budget you were given.
So number 3, and this kind of goes back to the organizing thing, is to keep copies of every receipt. Not only is that going to help you stay within your budget, because you can just, do the math of like how much everything costs, but also you can look back in your contracts with, for example, the venue had a contract and it had a list of expectations for us and our timeline of payments that we needed to make, as well as our photographer had a similar thing. And just keeping it all in one place so that if you need to refer back to it really quick, you can just go to the tab for like your photographer and look back on that contract, or the venue, look back on that contract. Definitely keep all of your contracts, keep all of your receipts. If you want to do it in like a PDF or an electronic format, if that's easier for you, go for it. Me personally, I like paper. I like having it like physically in my hand. Definitely keep record of everything that you can.
Step number 4 is utilize utilizing your village or your family and friends, using their skills and talents. We have two families that we add to our arsenal. Her family was more of the creative, I guess, organized and made the schedule for a wedding, and my family, like my dad, is more of the hands-on and physically built things for a wedding.
Yeah, his dad built our arch, which was beautiful. It turned out so pretty. Like, his dad built the frame of the arch, and then different members of our family helped decorate the arch.
Yeah.
So that's just an example.
And he also built the aisle, like the poles and the
Yeah.
posts for the aisle. But then Sydney's side of the family helped with like catering and helped with like what the actual decoration and theme of the actual wedding was going to be. And her family is also really big into music, and so we were able to utilize their speakers and microphones and instruments for performances that happened during our wedding as well.
The most common question that I got when I told people I was getting married or when I invited people to our wedding was, how can I help you? And I encourage you to not just be like, oh, it's okay, like, I got it. Like, give them jobs. For example, my aunt, I asked her to make our wedding cake as a wedding gift, and she was more than happy to do that. It definitely takes a village to raise a child, so we both had villages that were more than willing to help us on our wedding day. So we encourage you to ask family and friends to help out. That's going to save you a ton of money in the long run. So tip number 5 is to
I like this pillow.
Okay. Tip number 5 would be to consider having your wedding in the off season. So what we mean by that is the most popular wedding season is spring and summer. We decided to have our wedding in the winter for a couple of reasons. We got engaged in August when we went to Japan. We didn't want to wait until the following summer. That just seemed like a really long time. We just wanted to get married. And thank goodness we didn't, because our two choices were December 2019 or April 2020, which is right around when COVID hit. So thank goodness we decided on December, because if we did April, we probably would not have had a wedding. We were both in college at the time, and we had a bunch of friends who were in college, and we knew they'd be home for the holidays. We got married on December 28th of 2019. In general, it's just cheaper to travel in the winter rather than the summer. Also, it depends on where you live. Luckily, Oregon is a pretty moderate temperature all year, and our winters are pretty mild. It didn't snow. Our wedding was actually pretty good weather. It wasn't super cold. It was overcast, but it didn't rain all day, so
It was perfect.
yeah, it was really good. But the downside was we had a couple of relatives that were unable to make it to the wedding because it was snowing where they lived. If you're going to have your wedding in the winter, just be prepared that some people might not be able to make it because of weather in their area or in your area. So it's just kind of a pros and cons that you need to decide on with your partner. But if you're looking strictly to save money with your budget, we encourage you to do fall winter rather than spring summer.
Number 6 is for catering yourself. And what I mean by that is, once again, utilizing your family or friends who are good at making their food for a lot of people, or like a buffet. Luckily for our wedding, we did have her mom's friend who had a lot of experiences for catering weddings on a low budget, and all we did is we just had her accumulate and keep track of all the receipts that she used, and then at the end we just paid her back how much she I guess spent. And that was kind of her wedding gift for us, was just going out, finding a menu and creating a menu and like serving our family for us, which was really nice of her, because a lot of the times for weddings that I shoot at, you have to pay $200 to $300 per plate for a mouth to eat. Our whole food budget that we spent was only $300, right?
$350.
$350.
Yeah. Just to tell you what our menu was, we had a soup bar, and they were super easy to prepare. It was like one of those kinds where you just add water, but they're still really tasty. And we got like Costco rolls, like those big bags, as well as a bunch of like veggie platters. We also had a hot chocolate bar, which I thought was really cute. We were able to feed everyone on $350. But again, use your village if you can.
Agreed.
So number 7, I think this was one of Logan's favorite parts, is to make your own invitations. The website that we used is called overnightprints.com. They have like templates you can use online, or if you are expert like Logan is, you can design your own. And Logan just like uploaded the PDF, and we were able to print out a bunch of copies really quickly. I think we got them within like a week of ordering them, and we're able to send them out. Another tip tip that we have for saving money on printing invitations. So when we sent out our save the dates, we sent like people links to a Google Doc, and on the Google Doc there is a question that said, do you want a PDF version of our invitation, or would you like a printed version of our invitation? So people got the choice, and most people actually wanted the PDF. So we only ended up printing maybe 150 invitations, so that saved us a ton of money. In the end, it was only like $60 for all of those.
Because it doesn't have to be this glorified, super crazy, gold-plated paper invitation. It's just a piece of paper they're going to put on the fridge, you know? Yeah, I think it worked out pretty good. Number 8, make sure you're not afraid to go on the cheaper end for making your decorations or just like buying decoration. Like even for her bouquet, like she used fake flowers. And no one really cared / noticed.
Yeah, we used fake flowers and everything because it was so much cheaper to just buy fake flowers rather than real ones, and no one noticed.
But I've been at weddings where the bride has spent $2,000 on just flowers alone for their wedding, which is to me crazy. I mean, it really depends on what your guys' priorities are for your wedding. So don't be afraid to go to like Dollar Tree to pick up good decorations, or go to Walmart.
With the whole like avoiding wedding buzzwords when you're buying things. For example, my bridesmaids dresses, I just picked a dress on Amazon that I liked in the color that I wanted, which was burgundy. I think it cost like $20, $25. If I had typed in bridesmaid dress, the same kind of dress probably would have cost me $200. Instead of saying like wedding something something, say like white something something. Because the companies will get you.
Yeah.
Number 9, have a pre-wedding meeting. We decided to combine our rehearsal dinner with like a wedding meeting, and it kind of became like a rehearsal lunch.
So yeah, we had everyone in the wedding party show up to a location, and we just made sure that when we were new, we wanted them to get to know each other, because I mean, I've been at tons of weddings where like the bridesmaids and the groomsmen have no idea who each other are, so when they're walking down the aisle, they're just like, who is this person kind of thing. And I don't want that. We had everyone show up, and we had like pizza and a salad, and we had a whiteboard to kind of go over like our play, you could say, for the wedding. We made sure we listed out everyone's expectations. We handed out little flyers and been like, hey guys, you're going to be in charge of all the heavy lifting. You're going to be moving the tables, moving the alley, putting up chairs and things. And then we said, like, girls, you're going to be in charge of making sure that the food is being taken care of. And so just making sure you delegated the responsibilities so everybody's on the same page, because a lot of the time when I shot weddings, like I would always go and straight to the bride and groom to ask them questions, as they're getting other questions asked by everyone at the wedding. So it just adds a lot more stress to the bride when they're getting asked all these questions on their wedding day when they should be enjoying the wedding day themselves. And then we also had just kind of like a rehearsal, you could say, for who was going to walk with who, and what order, and what like tempo, and like when's the cue, and things like that. So that way no one kind of got nervous, and everyone kind of had a good flow down. We just finished the evening hanging out with both wedding parties. Did some like silly games and icebreakers. That way we just really knew each other, and we're okay with just spending the next day. We did this whole like preparation day one day prior to our actual wedding. A lot of people from both wedding parties said that that was really cool and very interactive, and really helps kind of, I don't know, unified everyone towards a goal for helping the wedding move as smoothly as possible.
And it definitely helped us be relaxed and enjoy our wedding day, because we didn't have people coming up to us all day asking us a billion questions, because everyone in our wedding party could answer the questions for them. So, shout out to our bridesmaids and our groomsmen. You guys are awesome. You made our day awesome, and we love all of you. Tip number 10. This one should go without saying, but please, please, please enjoy your day. We really hope that it is relaxing, but also super fun for you. We hope it's everything that you dreamed, but things will go wrong.
Yes, like I've been to so many weddings where the schedule is an hour behind, or the groomsman forgot his ring, or someone showed up late, or the caterer is like not there, or just something goes wrong all the time. Just be flexible, and just know that everything's gonna be wrong, and everything's gonna work out, and you guys will be happy and live happily ever after.
What was your favorite part of our wedding day?
favorite part was how smooth everything went. We left 10 minutes early from our wedding.
That was amazing. That we
which
got out early.
I've
not
never
late.
seen in my entire life. All the weddings I've shot, I've never seen that. My grandma, who hates going to weddings, she comes to me after the wedding and she's like, I just want you guys to know your guys' wedding was the best wedding I've ever been at. It was so smooth, everything moved along, there was no long awkward moments, and it was very well put together. And I was like, yeah, that's my whole goal. So that was probably my favorite thing, was just how smooth everything went.
Bonus tip to help your wedding go smooth is to have an MC. We had one of my brothers be the MC, just like someone with a mic, keeping things like moving, and he was really good about keeping on schedule, and he'd be like, okay, now we're gonna have like the speeches. Okay, now we're gonna do the dances. So that helped things like keep going. That's just a bonus tip. Have an MC, have someone know what's going on, someone who's confident enough to like get the crowd like listening and on board with everything. This is a little thing, but my favorite part of the whole wedding was your groomsmen dance. That was definitely my favorite part.
That was a fun one.
It's on our channel if you want to go watch the video.
And the video's below, so check that out. But we just want to say that we hope that this video has helped you in some way or manner to think of just some other ideas on how you can approach your wedding day if you are getting married, or if you have a friend getting married, you might be able to help guide them towards this video, or even tell them things that we've told you on how to just make it go more smoothly and also save money in the long run. Because in the end, like, your wedding is a wedding, it's expensive, but if you do it the right way, it can be within your budget. You just gotta know what your budget is and then work with what you got. So, okay, we're just gonna eat out of here. So, adios amigos.